So I found that my reviews of microphones have done really well here on the channel. Apparently there's a lot of creators out there that are looking for cost-effective solutions. Hey, it can be really pricey to run a channel like this with all the stuff you gotta buy. Well, today we're gonna look at one from Comica. I gotta look at this because the title's long. It's a VM10 Pro mini cardioid digital shotgun microphone. Welcome back, and yeah, that's the microphone that I'm using right now. I've got it on my Sony camera here for the live stuff, or on-camera stuff. In just a minute here, we're going to do a lightning unboxing so you can see everything that comes inside of the package. I'll show you a couple of tests using an iPhone. That was one of the things that I looked at with this. It's digital or analog. It just has a little switch on there, and as long as you have the right connection to it, for example, with my iPhone, I had to buy an adapter to use, and all the USB-C cables that I had couldn't just plug directly into it. It was like, well, what's not working here? So then I started doing some research and found that you can buy a little adapter cable that is made for audio, that type of thing. So I got it working. I'll show you a walk and talk test out on the pier using the dead cat that comes with it. And frankly, if you don't put this dead cat on here, it just gets way too much audio into this mic and it distorts. So you do want to use in this instance, the dead cat or some sort of mic, foam mic cover or whatever, which it doesn't come with that, it just comes with the dead cat. All right, so once again, this is the VM10 Pro. It is a mini cardioid digital shotgun microphone from Comica. So why cardioid? Well, as a shotgun mic, it's meant to get just what's right in front of it, nothing to the sides and the back. So with this cardioid pattern, it's going to reduce sounds from the sides and from the rear. So that's good. You only get what your subject is. It can be analog or digital, analog for cameras, digital for phones, computers, and tablets. And I know that a lot of content creators are using things like that because nowadays, I mean, I can shoot 4K video on an iPhone. Well, why not? Especially if I'm doing some kind of a walk and talk type of thing. I feel like this one is aimed squarely at content creators. It's not as expensive as some microphones, and it works really well, especially when using with something digital. When it's in digital mode, it has a stepless gain control. You can adjust the gain on it. When it's not in digital, there is no gain control. It's just straight into your camera. So you're going to be, adjusting that in your camera most likely. But also when it's in digital mode, the 3.5mm output port becomes a headphone jack, so you can monitor it. I really like that myself. There's no power required on this, no batteries or anything like that. It's completely plug and play, and that's been my experience. There are a lot of different things this could be used for. Vlogs, podcasts, even voiceover, and who knows, maybe for recording from an amp, It does come with a Pro shock mount, which is what it's mounted on right now on top of my Sony camera. And they say all metal construction. I'm going to say maybe about 90-95% because, a little knob on there's plastic and some plastic parts for the ports and stuff like that. But aside from that, it's going to be sturdy. So that's a good thing. Like I said, we're using it on this camera right now, so we're going to see how this audio comes out, but I've tested it before and it sounded great. We'll just see in this room right here. So let's go ahead and do that lightning unboxing. We'll take it outside and see what it does. All right, so I've got it on this rig right now. It's basically an iPhone tripod holder that I had before. It has a cold shoe on it, so you can actually plug the microphone in. Since we're in digital, you get this little light that lights up. What I had to do is buy this little adapter for it, and it was from a company called AGV. And the thing about that is that, this volume control actually only works in digital. But the thing about that is I tried other adapters, and you need one that's specific to audio. As you can see on here, you've got that little headphone indicator on there. So now when you're in digital, you can actually use that knob to, to adjust whether you need more dB or less dB. And I think that's pretty cool. So I think what I'm going to do is take this thing out for a little walk and see how well it handles wind and stuff in a vlogger type setup like this. I am monitoring this in headphones right now, and the headphones are plugged into the back here. You can see that that's either, audio out, or you can use it for headphones if you're using it with the digital. So pretty cool. All right, so we're taking this thing out here on this pier, and the reason why is because there's usually quite a bit of wind. There isn't as much today, but there's other ambient sounds out here. We've got the water. Let me see if we can actually catch this water here. Let's see. Now I've got the control for the input, the volume on this at about 12 o'clock, maybe closer to 1 o'clock, but I don't want to adjust it because I don't have my headphones on, but that's the thing that's nice is that you do have that headphone jack on here so you can actually test that. So let's do this. I'm going to do a little run here. Wanted to get that wind blown by it. But yeah, I wanted to show that you could use this thing as a vlogging mic if you want to. It'll hook up to, this is an iPhone 14 Pro that it's hooked up to right now. But it, obviously, if it works good on this, it's also working good with the analog on a regular digital DSLR or something like that. But all right, well, we're gonna see how this came out. I was hoping it was gonna be a little bit more windy out here. It's not, which means it's extra hot, but yeah. Trying to see, this is only at about 2 feet, but let's go this way. How about this? I'm gonna go down here, I'm gonna set this down, and we're gonna see how that goes. Okay, so this is probably the maximum distance that I would be away from a camera like this, in a situation for doing on-camera stuff, interviews or whatever. So just wanted to see how this is. Of course, we got a weird echo going on here because we're inside of a roofed structure like that. Let's turn this a little bit more like this. And get a little bit further away then. Okay, so now we're a good distance away from it. And I'm sure this thing is picking up quite well. If it wasn't, I could just turn it up. That's one thing I like about the digital on this. I can always just get more volume. So I'm thinking this is a pretty cost-effective device, and if you're a content creator that's on a budget and you need a nice shotgun microphone, this might be one to consider. I know it's available on Amazon, and I've seen it on B&H and Adorama, whatever. I'm going to put some links together for you. I'll put those down in the description so you can find it yourself. I don't know, man. I gotta say, this Comica VM10 Pro, it's a pretty nice microphone, and I'm going to put it into some use for sure. Typically, I'm recording this with a lav mic on my shirt right here, but all this microphone this time around. Hey, listen, I want to thank you so much for your support here on the channel. I've been around doing this since 2013. I've done a lot of different stuff here on the channel. In the last couple of years, I've had more time to cover some of the stuff that I have big passions for. I mean, I love electronics. I love camera gear, microphones, and all that. Clearly, being a musician, I'm also big on the microphone, so this is kind of right in my wheelhouse. I haven't covered very many high-end mics on here. A lot of stuff that's used for creators and people on a budget, which is great because I want to help you out with that stuff. But I also cover electric skateboards, scooters, bikes, solar power, solar panels, and generators. Of course, the electric guitars. And that right there in the corner, the Angle, is my new amp. I just received that this weekend. I've only cranked it up a couple of times. I want to spend some time with it and make sure I get it all dialed in. But it's a nice tube amp. And oh man, it's crunchy and it's metal. I like that. So I will be having some content with that on here in the channel as well. I do have a thanks button down there if you'd like to support the channel monetarily. It's a really easy way to do that. The easiest way to support the channel though is if you like this video, give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, there is a red subscribe button down there and a notification bell. If you click both of those, you'll get notifications when I upload new videos. So yeah, once again, thank you so much for your support. Very humbling to me. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll catch you next time on the Vapor Trail channel.